side, the Prime Minister completes 8 years in office. We've asked our respondents and the public of India to respond to what they think about the Prime Minister's stint at the centre. That survey on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, the Modi government has completed 8 years in office. For the last 1 week, we've had the BJP's list their achievements under the Prime Minister's leadership and correcting wrongs of their predecessors. You've also heard the opposition scoff at all those claims made by the Saffron Party. The Congress Party has gone on to list the 8 big failures of the Modi government. Even when the Prime Minister, for the first time itself, gave a self-appraisal of his work over the weekend, the opposition said it was a unilateral claim. Those were the political narratives, but what do the people of India really think? Do they believe Narendra Modi has been a Pradhan Sevak, or has his tenure not been really up to the mark? Times Now, in collaboration with Veto, conducted a survey to find out the mood. In the next 5 minutes, I'll take you through the 10 questions that reveal the mood of the people. And let me tell you the methodology. We dialed people through a random digital dialing system, and we know that people have mobiles virtually all across the countryside, even in villages, and this was carried out with 14,500 people, and that was the survey sample size that we conducted this survey on. Let's get on to the first question that we asked our respondents. The first question we asked was, how was the Prime Minister's 8-year tenure? Extraordinary. 18% people felt it was extraordinary. 34% people felt it was good. 27% people felt it was average, and not satisfactory 21%. So between good and extraordinary, it was a whopping 52%, average 27%. So if you look at the overall satisfaction levels, the Prime Minister scoring quite high in those marks. Question number 2 that we asked, which decision of the Prime Minister was a game changer? 370 abrogation, Article 370 abrogation, 32%. Role in Ram Temple construction, 17%. Surgical strikes, 27%. Waiting for a game changer still, 24% people felt that. So 32% people in favor of Article 370 abrogation. Question number 3 that we asked our respondents, what makes Modi a charismatic leader? Honest work, 24% people felt it was that. 30% people felt he's a hard-working person. 42% people felt that he's somebody who can take tough decisions. And direct connect with people, 4% people. So 42% people felt that he is someone who can take very, very tough calls. Question number 4, is Narendra Modi the best Prime Minister so far? 100% best Prime Minister so far, 19% people felt that. To an extent, 33%. Get the two together and you'll get a percentage of, again, 52%. No, say 22%, can't say 26. So 52% people feel, yes, he's the best PM so far. Question number 5, Prime Minister's most successful policy in last 8 years, Ujjwala, 22%, Jan Dhan Yojana, 14%, Kisan Samman Nidhi, 22%, Ayushman Bharat, 18%, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, 24%. That's the highest one. Let me introduce our guests tonight, and I'll get the first comments from what each one of them thinks. Gaurav Bhatia, of course, continues to be with us. Smita Prakash, editor of ANI. Sanjay Jha, author and suspended Congress leader. Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And my first question goes to Shashi Panja ji, MLA and national spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Do you agree with the first 5 questions that have been responded to by our viewers and by the respondents, Shashi Panja ji? Because popularity-wise, 52% people believe that he is so far the best PM ever.
Navika ji. One of our major concerns was that this government spoke about the pet schemes. And in your second question, which were those questions did not take a vote on his pet schemes like Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or Kisan Nidhi Yojana. So that was a bit surprising. Yes, in your last question, we saw some kind of a poll that you have taken on Ujjwala, etc.
Ma'am, they were divided into 2 separate questions. Policy decisions were one and the schemes were another, and amongst the schemes the popularity definitely was for Pradhan Mantri Awas, closely followed by Ujjwala and Kisan Samman Nidhi.
Yeah, but then the data reflects something else. That is what I thought. Anyway, your question was regarding the popularity, We just want to know whether India is happy. And vis-a-vis the World Happiness Index, we stand at 136th position out of 150 countries. Is our country happy is a question which is majorly concerning us. Vis-a-vis the inflation, vis-a-vis the, the petroleum and the gas prices, vis-a-vis the retail or the WPI or the food inflation, the unemployment. We are really concerned about these. I mean, you could have taken a vote on all these two as to how they felt about it.
Ma'am, before you write your
scrambling with this issue.
Before you write your verdict, may I just tell you that those questions have been asked. In the next 5 questions, you will see those coming up.
Yes, so regarding Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, I can just say this much, that only 49% has been achieved out there. In the urban sector, we have data with it, that only 49% of the total sanctioned houses have actually been completed. Even in the rural sector, we have similar data. Even in the Kisan Yojana, there is a huge data where we see that about ineligible farmers have been given out 2,590 crores. So, there is a botched up review that we get. There's a botched up kind of allocation, or it has reached out to beneficiaries, to those beneficiaries who would not even need it. But say 58 lakh ineligible farmers are there out of 11.7 crore farmers. Even the Ujjwala Yojana, just look at the beneficiaries. About 90 lakh beneficiaries did not even refill their cylinders. About 1 crore beneficiaries refilled only once, because the subsidies was just too, it was pittance in comparison to the increased rise in the gas prices.
So you're saying, ma'am, that frankly, nothing to report in 8 years. It's all bad because the happiness index is so low. Gaurav Bhatia, you want to respond to that?
First of all, I would like to very confidently say that people of India have been blessing Shri Narendra Modi Ji because of the sincerity, hard work, dedication he has. And the country is very happy, Panja Ji. And I'm also sure the opposition is not very happy. Navika, the reason is very simple. They have a lust for power. They can't regain that power through their dynastic and communal politics that they did, so they are unhappy. But what is instrumental? I'll tell you. पहले एक जमाना होता था, 1984 राइट्स के बाद कांग्रेस लीडर्स कहते थे हुआ तो हुआ. आज जनता कह रही है जो हुआ वो अद्भुत हुआ, वो कभी नहीं हुआ. ये फर्क है. And Narendra Modi Ji today is not only an inspiration for the Indians, he is the tallest world leader, and we should be proud of it, because he is leading from the front and he is giving a direction to the whole world polity. Now my third point is the historic decisions that he has taken, Navika Ji. Even one historic decision on one side and the other routine work that the policy paralysis ridden Congress government used to do, that one decision is bigger. But Article 370 abrogated 55 years of Congress rule, they couldn't do it. Ram Mandir kabhi nahi banega, tarikh nahi batayenge. बना दिया. One rank, one pension, 35 years. They could not honor the ex-servicemen. Narendra Modi Ji ne kar diya. GST for 2.5 decades they could not implement. Narendra Modi Ji ne kar dikhaya. These are only some of the examples. What does it show? It shows that if your intentions are right and you have the will to take strong decisions in the interest of the country will stand with you. And therefore, I think it's a celebration that every citizen is participating in. The only league of people whining and crying are the opposition parties.
Well, is that true? And before, I know, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, you and Sanjay Jha are both wanting to come in. But let me, Ms. Panja, let me also take in questions that you would have wanted to see, which you thought I hadn't taken. But yes, we did ask people, what has been the most unsuccessful policy that the BJP government has failed in tackling? Inflation, say 39% of the people. Unemployment, say 37% of the people. Terror, 14%, internal security 10%. So we've asked those questions and it's an overwhelming response that's come in from the people. In which sector the Prime Minister has performed better? Economy, defense, foreign policy, in every sector. Well, foreign policy gets 36%, defense gets 32%, economy 18%, every other sector 14%. So foreign policy, the Prime Minister comes out trumps. Question number 8, Prime Minister's foresight seen in which sector? Political front, 31% of the people feel. Economy, 16%. Global issues, 24%. Crisis management, 29% people feel that he's a great manager of crises. And on the political front, of course, they see nobody coming up close to him. Question number 9. Who is the Prime Minister's challenger in 2024? Rahul Gandhi, Mamata Banerjee, Sharad Pawar, or Modi versus all? 39% people feel it's going to be Modi versus all. Sharad Pawar 16%, Mamata Banerjee 18%, Rahul Gandhi 27%. Who, that's the way it's stacked, but Modi versus all, that's what most people feel it's going to be. And who is the favorite for the Prime Minister's post in 2024? 46% of the people believe that it's going to be Narendra Modi who is going to be the Prime Minister in 2024. Rahul Gandhi 13%, Arvind Kejriwal the next leader, but less than half, 21%, Mamata Banerjee 8%, anyone else 12%. Popularity still where it was, tough decision maker. Ghanshyam Tiwari, any prices for those, or are you only worried about unemployment and inflation?
Well, good evening, Navika ji, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. If you ran this survey in 2014, 100% people, including Smita ji, you and Gaurav here, would say that in 100 days, black money will be back, 2 crore jobs will be created, there will be achhe din, petrol prices will be under 40, dollar will be under 40, that India will have conquest against Pakistan, against China, and India will be a developed country where farmers' income will be doubled, the inequality will be all-time low, and we will be all happy. And ranking high in all the indexes that matter. These are promises that made Narendra Modi the Prime Minister of India in 2014. Not one of these promises has been fulfilled. Not one. The word Achhe Din is like a ghost that BJP carries but will not present it to people. But people watch that ghost when their kids are unemployed. Reuters say that 40 lakh children who are in private schools are out of those schools just last year. Any report you take tells you that people are living in misery because this government forced 1,100 rupees cylinder on people. This government forced 100 rupees petrol diesel on people. So if there's one party that is gloating over misery of people through its political success, it is Bharatiya Janata Party under the able and adbhut leadership of Narendra Modi. One thing you must give to the Prime Minister, that his ability to sell a lie and build imagination on top of that lie and sustain that is adbhut compared to any other past Prime Minister.
Are you saying the people of India are foolish who voted him back to power in 2019? उनको दिखता नहीं है, पागल हैं voters इस देश के. Are you saying that?
You are saying that. I'm just saying that every person who's watching this show knows that they face unemployment of their children.
No, but
they have struggled to pay the fees of their children,
if
and
the
BJP has not been bothered.
Prime Minister is telling a lie, then somebody is buying the lie. Who are the people buying the lie? The people of India, well, according to you. Smita Prakash, I want to get you in. Are the people of India buying a lie which is sold so well, quote unquote, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari? And how's your happiness quotient about that?
Let me first begin with this happiness quotient bit. Firstly, these happiness numbers which come out in the world, some Scandinavian country comes out with this, where they conduct the survey, how they conduct the survey. Can you imagine they come up with Afghanistan, China and all that? Do you think those countries allow the surveys to happen in their countries? Anyway, I don't believe in this happiness quotient anyway, because there are so many factors which contribute to why a person or a citizen is happy or unhappy. The second part is that did Modi lie? Has Modi lied? Has the BJP lied? It's a political party. He's a leader of a political party. Give me one citizen who says that a political party is honest. So let me just go beyond this lying and not being honest bit. The fact is that it is a party which has been voted stupendously back to power from 2014 and then the next election. 8 years in power. Now, Modi's mantras when he fought the election in 2014, I think the mantras kept changing, you know, and also the agenda of the political party. The BJP had an agenda even before it came to party. It's not been driven, it's not succumbed to events that have happened. It didn't allow events to dictate its course in these years. If it had succumbed to that, then the body blow that demonetization caused our economy or the pandemic would have stopped the party in its tracks, would have altered the course after the 5 years. It would not have got elected back to power. I think the Atmanirbhar package has been a stunning example how it resurrected the economy. You know, the COVID pandemic could have given such a body blow that it couldn't have recovered. But that single package, imagine a billion plus population to rise after a pandemic. I mean, today, whatever opposition might say, the fact is that the country has over 100 unicorns. The FDI could have been better. But it's at a healthy 83 or 84 billion in 2021 in the first year in the FII. Now, despite the agri law agitation, our agriculture output is high and it's thriving. And the political party is on an agenda. And you know, who could have imagined, Navika, that when Modi gave the call for a Congress Mukt Bharat, I mean, no political analyst would have believed. Forget about anybody else believing that a Congress Mukt Bharat could be possible. The fact today is that the party has imploded. Why? Not because he kept saying it or the BJP kept telling people ki Congress Mukt Bharat karo. The fact is that this political party is a 24/7 political party. You may not agree with its policies and programs, you may not agree with Modi or whatever, but the fact is that this party is working on an agenda. It is working towards its...
Yeah. And can there be a scope to do better? Of course, always. But Sanjay Jha, foreign policy, up trumps. Is he going to be the Prime Minister in 2024? No doubt in anybody's mind. Is he the most popular? No doubt in anybody's mind. Yet, it's only the opposition that seems to be finding holes. Yes, there will be negatives. Nothing can be 100% positive. There have been challenges in this country. But given the circumstances, would you still see everything as black with no shades of any sun?
Well, Navika, just to answer your question, there is no denying that Mr. Modi remains the front runner in Indian politics. And yet it is not a contradiction to say that there is no guarantee that Mr. Modi or the BJP will win 2024. Both these realities can coexist. And one of the reasons why Mr. Modi has been winning, despite all the headwinds or the negatives that both Mrs. Panja and Mr. Tiwari have mentioned, is largely because of a very weak and an enervated opposition, for which I principally believe the Congress has really failed in its job as an opposition. But let me tell you what I believe is Mr. Modi's legacy so far. And I speak in a fairly impartial manner. I believe Mr. Modi has been amongst the most polarizing political figures I have seen. And let me tell you, I have been an active follower of politics as a student of the subject. and as somebody who always had a deep interest as to where the country was headed. I mean, I look at Navika, two aspects of India today. I have never in my living memory ever seen the conversation of what I call as polarization between communities, especially Hindu-Muslim, in my life. I mean, it's not just a daily, shall we say, playbook of the BJP.
Maybe your party pushed things under the carpet for far too long.
No, I'll answer that. I will answer that. And I do believe that while all parties have been guilty of playing some kind of a vote bank politics, one has to concede that the BJP has taken it to another astronomical scale. I'll give you one data point, Navika, before I mention my second point.
Gaurav has to leave, so I'll take his response before I allow you to complete. But Gaurav, polarization.
Navika, Gaurav needs to answer why there is not going to be a single Muslim member of parliament in either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha after June 10th. And these are 15% of India's population. Let him answer that.
All right. Gaurav Bhatia, two questions to you. Polarization, biggest hallmark of Modi, and the other is no Muslim member of parliament in both houses.
First of all, I had spelt out what has been done. Hua to hua se, jo hua adbhut hua. Now, what has not been done also, which was done and prevalent in the Congress era, ceding India's territory to China and Pakistan. Every inch of our land is protected by Shri Narendra Modi Ji and the brave Indian soldiers. There has been no signing of an MOU with China. Zakir Naik se donation nahi li hai humne. Emergency invoke nahi kiya hai humne. And there can be many other such, sins that were committed by the Congress that have not been committed by a duly elected government because we believe in the Constitution of India. The two points that have been raised on unemployment and inflation, I would like to answer. Shri Narendra Modi Ji also shared the data. In 2021, 1.2 crore new EPF accounts have been opened. Therefore, it shows that there have been job employment generation. Second, 34 crore Mudra Yojana loans. That means opportunity for livelihood has been created. The unemployment rate in Uttar Pradesh is 2%. In Rajasthan, it is 26%. So Congress wants us to follow their model, but we will not, because people of India have rejected them. And on inflation, during the UPA regime, the inflation rate was in double figures. The average was around 9 to 10%. And in the last 8 years, the inflation rate has been controlled and it has been tamed to 3.5 to 4% on an average basis. Even when there are certain global issues like the Russia-Ukraine war or the COVID pandemic, still we have been at least, able to control inflation. And even in future, we will ensure that it does not rise. And the recent petrol and diesel central excise duty cut itself is an example of how Narendra Modi Ji thinks about every citizen of the country.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I want to say at this stage is 8 years, well, have we done well? Many people, as per the survey, believe that we've done better. Yes, inflation, unemployment are problems that continuously need to be attended to. But I just want to leave one question. When the popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi continues to rise unabated after 8 years in power, what happens to the opposition? Where are they? Is it only going to be Modi versus all? And for those who actually felt that poverty was a state of mind, today to question the happiness quotient, that too as evaluated by Scandinavian countries, are we talking about apples and oranges, or rather in the current context, Modi and Gandhi? That's the question. Thank you very much to my panelists and to you viewers for joining me on the NewsHour tonight. Good night, be safe, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.